but two persons are so famous and everybody should know. So now let me just go a little bit off the mind. I'm paying attention to soul. Now, soul is the one you cannot see, it's hard to define, you cannot touch. It's just one of those areas now still is being investigated. There's a person called Iliade, E-L-I-A-D-E. He was a person who built first History of Religion in Chicago University. According to his idea, there is area of sacredness in contrast to profanities. So that's what he studied all his life. And I read his book, and about a month ago I read his novel called Bengal Nights. It's another good novel. Background of in India, he fell in love with an Indian lady and so forth. It's a fiction, but sort of autobiographical fiction. And then also, I found out this about 10 days ago, Das Unheimliche. This, of course, is German. 우리나라 말로 번역하면 두려운 낯선. That's also very hard to understand. Of Freud. He was in the train in sleeping sections. So he was sleeping in the train, hairs, and he was so surprised to find this stranger. He said, "Wow, who is this person?" He found out that it was him in the mirror. So he felt that, how come I really felt so strange and fearful finding himself in the mirror? So he felt that something in the mind, a person, there's a something unheimliche, tuyonassam. So he felt that maybe that's the psychologically in unconscious areas. And also, Dr. Freud studied, of course, he read a book by Rudolf Otto, Holiness. So, 두려운나성, holiness, sacredness, and then these are the things in my mind. It's something you want to study. On your right, on your left, there is the I told you, sacredness and profane, das Unheimliche, and holiness. But what about the other side? Well, our Eastern world has a similar Atman, Hindus, some ideal, something special. Buddha, Nirvana, and when you look up the Chinese philosophy, 천명, 하늘의 뜻, 옥황상제. This is another the sacred person in our Korean religion. 양심, maybe there's something to do with it too. 신명, 신명이 난다. So these are the areas I want. It's vaguely defined. It's not as clear as scientific medicine, but these are the things your patient will come to you with. And then I said, what about lately anything? So I said, 엄마의 말뚝, familiar with you? And this is the novel by Park Wan-sung. She said in the story, this is what I was able to live and felt the meaning of life. Her mother. And although it it's a story by Lee Chong-jun. It's also next world of Jeju people. So you can see these are the areas when you have a time, it's time to look it up more. Okay, so now come back to psychotherapy. So psychotherapy, I had in my mind, there is meaning of life we search to find. And it's a famous book by Viktor Frankl. He said, well, he quoted Nietzsche, and Nietzsche said, a person knows why I'm doing it, will find how to do it. So that's the why is important. Why do I live? Why do I sit down and listen and YouTube? Why do I stand up telling you to the empty seat here, standing up, and all those things what I'm doing from this morning on. So that's meaning of life is something important. If you don't know why I'm studying, and that's not valuable to study. So here is the one of the Dr. Raman MD said, this is what she said. A story, there were 3 soksujani, stone cutters, who were cutting all those stone to be just fit in to build a church. So one person asked, why do you cut these things all day? And he answered, I don't know. Damn thing, I'm cutting it. I really don't have an idea. I get some food from cutting on, so I hate this thing. Second person asked, why do you do this one from dawn to dusk? All day? He said, wow, I'm doing this one for my family, my lovely wife and my 3 children and 6 grandchildren. And I'm doing this one because by doing it, I love them and I feed them, I'm the breadwinner. So that's what he said. Third person asked, why do you cut this stone from dawn to dusk? He said, I'm doing this one because this stone will be the stone to build the sacred church. And the church will be built and will be the place of holy, so that people with sad mind and crying and depression, despair, will come and will find the hope and courage. So that third person said, that's what I'm doing it. I'm doing this one for next 100, 200, 300, even longer. The stone will be built as a place of hope and prayer and courage and love. So this is what Naomi Raman said us to remember. And another one is learned hopefulness. I have mentioned that. And he said, Seligman, a psychologist, thinks that there is area in our brain. He named it Hope Center. Where it is, I don't know yet. And community therapy, group therapy, that is something tried to do best in American society, and by Dr. Scott Peck, and Wounded Healer by psychologist Henry Nouwen. So I'm a little bit sidetracked further here. Now, there's a relationship between psychiatry and neurology. When I was in medical school, there's not much connection. Neurology is a person who takes care of the nerve damages and blood and clot in the brain. Psychiatry is the area, nothing to do with that conditions, but worry about madness and insanities. But now, last 50 years, they are getting closer and closer and closer by neuroanatomy and Pavlov experimentation and brain map, Broca's area, Wernicke's area. What does that do? You read it. Yeah. Broca and Wernicke. So Broca is speech production area on mainly left side, dominant frontal lobe, and Wernicke's area again something to do with receptive aphasia. Broca's is speech productions, so you can look it up more. So Broca is in the frontal lobe, Wernicke is temporal lobe. Where are they? Well, that's going to look it up in your textbook. And the medications. So now I'm getting into the end of the first lecture. The medication for the mental illnesses began in 1950, after I was born. So before that, people didn't have any medicine for mental illnesses. So that's why they did psychoanalysis and psychotherapies and all different kinds of treatment, or sanatorium, isolation, mental hospital treatment. Long time ago, mental hospital is like a prison. Thousand people who were kept in like a prison stayed there, and they had bath therapy and so many other therapies. No medicines. Until 1950, chlorpromazine came upon, and is known as athorazine. It worked very well for those people who has schizophrenia, and followed by lithium for manic depressive disorder, dilantin, barbiturate, tranquilizers, tricyclics, sedatives, neuroleptics, lately haloperidol, Zyprexa, quetiapine. These are the medicines. Now, medicines for the mind is as complicated as antibiotics, as complicated as pain medicine, as complicated as stomach digestive medicine, or as complicated as the medicines for ointment and skin and so forth. So, as a medical students, now you're studying, you need to study all those medicines. Alright? So, I'm not going over all details, but you are going to meet those medicines. This is the group of the medicines, and then you will go over that. Alright, so I have 5 minutes to the terms of psychiatry. Why do I do this? Well, as Professor G said, well, we need to go over the paper, the terms. So 575 in your textbook. There are some terms I will select out, some of it, so I will explain my own ways. There is in the middle MMPI. It's a test for personality. So MMPIs. IQ, you know that. And also another term I want you familiar with, DSM. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Why do I have this? Why do we need this? Because Psychiatrist has not much test to do. There's no X-ray for psychiatry, not much blood test, not much biopsies, not much pathologies. So what they decided to do? They made a book. And the book says, for those people have symptoms 1, 2, 3, 4 for more than 4 weeks, we call them depressions. For those people, 4 out of 6 symptoms are following for a month, we call it something else. So that's a book. Now, book published now is 4. Number 4. Published last 1994. So, any psychiatrist would have this book. So you know what kind of book this is. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, Mental Illness. And next page, Psychosis, Neurosis. You're going to read it. Psychoanalysis, Ego, Superego, Id. And we checked it out. And also I want to emphasize for you to understand defense mechanism. Defense mechanism is a term made by Freud. Who else? Freud said, in this world is so many troubles, pain, sadness, depression, you see the big challenges. You get final exam soon, so the challenges that comes in. And when you meet the challenge, how to get over. Like swimming in the ocean. If big wave comes, you make decisions. You ride over, or you go under. How you decide? It's up to you. So, how you meet the challenge in life, mentally, by yourself, by different mechanisms. So, defense mechanisms, if a person knows how to do it, that's a successful person, enduring person, resilient person, who are able to go through difficulties in life successfully at the end. So that's defense mechanism. If you use wrong defense mechanisms, blaming on your mom, blaming on your brothers, sisters, blaming on the professors, if you blame on something, blame on coronas, viruses, wrong way, mad, and hit something, that is not good. So, using good defense mechanisms to meet the challenge successfully, overcome the difficulties. That is what we learn. So, sublimation is another good way to do it. Like a blind pianist who sings. He was born as a blind. But how could he overcome the difficulties? By learning how to sing, by playing piano without sheet music. So that's what he did. So defense mechanisms, they are good kind, healthy, and bad kind, unhealthy. So which one you use is very important to live in this world as a resilient person. Resilient. And it's translated in Korean 방어 탄력성. 방어 탄력성. So that's important. So let's go over few more terms. So let's get on the illusion, next page, hypnosis. mutism, narcissism, and so forth. And next page 579, affective disorder, manic depressive psychosis we call 조울 정신병, bipolar disorder, it's similar as in my manic depressive ones, and depressions, and also anxiety disorders, panic disorders, 581, and next page, PTSD, 582. These days we have corona PTSDs, and go on, anorexia nervosa on page 583. Bulimia is the opposite of anorexia nervosa. So, and multiple personality on page 584. This is something like Jekyll and Hyde type, two personalities. And sexual disorders and personality disorders, so you will have similar. And page 586, you get dementia, delirium tremens is another good word, and schizophrenia. So those are the terms, hallucinations and so forth. And ADHDs for children. So again, many words and psychotherapies, and pages go on. So there are many words. You will have more than 100. So when you do homework, between 50 and 100, I expect you're going to write down and copy and send it to me, so I know I can give you credit. If you send me below 50, it's not going to be get credited. So that's term of psychotherapy. So, alright, so we are going to have a break, 5 minutes, and we're going to have another 40 minutes for the second part. And I'm giving you these all homework to O 선생님, and I think she will make more copies, and so that I can do more review of your homework. Thank you.